Good afternoon. Hi. My name is Andrea Kaikala. I'm the Executive Director of the Kent Chamber of Commerce. Thank you all for coming to our March membership luncheon, the State of the City. I'd like to start this luncheon by introducing you to Glenn Fauntleroy from Doctors Express to tell you about a new program we're launching.
Thank you, Andrea, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Glenn Fauntleroy, as Andrea mentioned. I'm with Doctors Express. We're the area's most comprehensive new urgent care in the area, and we have 7 locations throughout the Seattle market. But what I want to speak to you about, and I've got just a couple of moments, I won't keep you too long, is to let you know that we've been partnering with the Chamber to bring you a very unique member benefit. As small business owners, we all struggle with the issue of trying to provide some sort of health care coverage for our employees, and in many instances, we can't do that. Doctors Express is bringing you a unique offering in that we now have a discount health care program only through Chamber members. This program consists of discounted health care for your employees. It also includes a prescription drug card that provides a significant discount. So this is a benefit for you to provide to your employees, and here's the win-win for you. There's no cost to any of you. There's no cost to you as an employer to provide this benefit. It's simply you enroll your employees, you tell us the number of employees you have, we will send your employees a package that details the entire program. They can use any Doctors Express location in the Seattle market to get significant reductions on health care. The advantage that you bring is you've provided them now a benefit to address the health care and the growing health care cost to provide for themselves and their family members. So, I won't take much more time. What I will tell you is my counterparts at the desk, Eddie and Angel, have a series of program information for you, along with a very short enrollment form. Simple, couple of lines. You're going to be hearing more from the Chamber about this in terms of a web blast and email blast to you. Please, give us a call if you have any questions. I guarantee you this is probably one of the best win-wins, no-cost win-wins that you're going to get in the healthcare industry. Thank you for your time. We look forward to working with you and serving you and your employees in the future. Thank you very much.
All right, at this time I'd like to thank our investors, and if I call your name, please stand up and wait for us to honor all of them at the same time. So we have our platinum investors. I know they're here, the Seattle Thunderbirds, our gold level investors, Republic Services, the Boeing Company, Puget Sound Energy, our silver level, Salem Communications, bronze, Allstate, Carlyle, Flow, Sound Transit, and Cisco, and our copper level investors who became investors by doubling their dues, AAA Pest Control, First Rate Mortgage, Great American Casino, Kent Performance Auto Center, Pegasus Northwest, Pacific Raceways, ServPro of Kent, and Perga Roots. Please join me in thanking them for their investment. At this time, I would like to introduce Jasmine Lujan. She's a senior at Kent Meridian and here to sing the national anthem. So please rise and help me in honoring our country.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner
our membership luncheon today is sponsored by Valley Bank. Valley Bank has been in business since 1973 and expanded to King County in 1998. The bank has nine branches in South King County and East Pierce County. Valley Bank opened their Kent office in 2001 and is the anchor tenant in the Valley Bank Kent Financial Center building at 4th and Meeker Street. Valley Bank is celebrating its 20th year as a 5-star rated bank at the highest rating by the Bauer Financial Rating Agency. Here to introduce Mayor Cook is Mike Miller, the Senior Vice President of Valley Bank.
Now, you're not going to do the same to me, I hope, here. It's my pleasure, it's Valley Bank's pleasure as the sponsor for the third year in a row of the mayor's speech, and we're pleased to be here today. I'd like to say thank you to the volunteers who worked on the luncheon today, so let's give them a round of applause. And thank you all, it's a great turnout. It's my pleasure to introduce our speaker today, Mayor Suzette Cook. Suzette and I came to Kent, I believe, the same year, about 1976 or so. Oh, I beat you. Oh, okay. Close. She was elected mayor of the city of Kent in 2005 and re-elected in 2009. CEO of Kent's local government, she oversees a 7-member city council and over 600 city employees. She doesn't oversee the city council, she works with the city council. All right. Prior to serving as mayor, Suzette was president of the Renton and Kent Chambers of Commerce, president and executive director, which is the economic development manager of the city of Burien, director of the Kent Senior Center, recreation supervisor for Seattle Parks and Recreation, and a specialist for the city of Bellingham. In the 1990s, she was elected to 3 terms in the Washington State House of Representatives, where she chaired the Children and Family Services Committee. Suzette is past chair of the Valley Communications Center, Administrative Board, chair of the King County Flood Control District Advisory Committee, past chair of the South County Area Transportation Board, and serves as on the executive board of the Puget Sound Regional Council. She also served this past year on the King County Transit Advisory Force to help Metro accommodate lost revenues. Please help me welcome Mayor Suzette Cook.
My, how time flies when you're having fun. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, members of the Chamber, for inviting me back for the State of the City address. And this is a new venue. I understand that we had a conflict at ShoWare, but I have to admit, since I don't get to see this view unless there is some kind of event here now, this is, even on a misty, rainy day, this is great. I also want to thank Jasmine Lujan. Jasmine, I don't know if you picked up on the fact, actually has her roots in Kent, going back now a couple generations. Before her mother actually was even born, Roberto and Araceli Gonzalez had arrived to town to open Mexico Lindo. And Marta Gonzalez, who is Jasmine's mother, Marta, would you stand? Works in our, yes, don't look so wide-eyed. Marta actually has been employed with the city now how many years? 6 years, and is in our clerk's office now. I think that you probably have the record as far as the most departments you've worked for, as we have downsized and moved people around, so you'll be mayor someday, I'm sure. Well, the theme for my State of the City address this year is your return on investment. Let me show you. Business and stock traders are not the only ones who look for a high return in investments. So do cities and the public they serve. You may measure your return on investment by net profit or accrued interest. Some people measure it as an outcome of their time spent, whether that's in an activity such as mentoring children, raising one's own children, or in a volunteer role, or perhaps accomplishing a task. My dad taught me the value of investing in a business, looking for that return. His return on investment was primarily the self-satisfaction of owning a business, something his family had never accomplished, and using his knowledge to serve others. He also taught me that returns on investment can change due to factors outside of one's controls. In his pharmacy's case, located in downtown Bellingham, the shift to one-way streets, a new medical clinic on the outskirts of town, and market competition with chain discount drugstores. Remember Pay and Save when it hit the market? Well, some of you are old enough to remember Pay and Save. With all of that occurring within a year's period of time, his dream basically ended. The pharmacy became an investment that he just couldn't afford. In some ways, Kent, too, has been dramatically affected by forces and decisions outside of our control. To name a few, not only has an increase in online shopping and the long but temporary economic recession depleted our revenue, streamlined sales tax has taken a permanent bite out of our revenues to the tune of $5 million a year. You can see the dramatic results in the graph. The Kent Efficiency Study, which has just recently been published at the direction of the City Council, done by Burke and Associates, reported that Kent's sales tax base is now the lowest among our peer cities. The efficiency study went on to say that the city is already operating efficiently across both internal and direct service functions. But staff are spread thinly and are concerned about their ability to maintain service levels in the long term. This is one of the major challenges we will continue to face. But we know with partners like the Chamber, with our residents, that we will not only survive, we will actually be better. Meanwhile, as this chart shows, the total number of city FTE positions, full-time equivalent position, and each year's per capita rate is displayed here. It looks a little light in color, but it's there. Let me just point out that we went from a high of 803 positions in the year 2007, or 9.3 staff per capita, to 630 positions in 2012, or 5.3 staff per capita. Remember, during that time, we also had the annexation of close to 25,000 people. Now, while a significant contributor to that drop in FTE positions was due to the public's approval of transfer of the fire department to a separate taxing district called a fire authority, the net drop in FTEs was still 107 positions over the 5 years. Now, while it is said that necessity is the mother of invention, in our case, we have had to reduce some levels of service and are truly having to reinvent how we do business. And we'll get to that topic a little bit later. Other changes that stretch our bottom line include technology advancements. You're all challenged by that, keeping up with technology. It's like a new era of capitalism You buy what you need, and then you need to buy more, let alone it is so expensive to license and maintain that technology. And the demand of our public is very, very strong. So when we look at the cost of advancing our technology, we also, another change that has stretched our bottom line includes something where King County has reduced services, whether it's the human service dollars now that King County doesn't expend at all. And while the city itself doesn't necessarily pick that up, our community certainly does look for those services still. But we did have to pick up animal control. That was a county service. Now, still in somewhat of a partnership with the county, that's a new added cost for our city. And another big change that has been outside of our control is a shift in regulations by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and the Federal Emergency Management Administration that affects the status of the Green River levees. But perhaps the most notable change is when you look at our population. When you look at the demographics for Kent, over the past decade, we have increased our ethnic minority population from 32% to 50%. The people represented by the numbers are behind the City Council's strategic goal to foster inclusiveness. You can experience a sense of our demographic shift at this June's International Festival. And I see Dave Mortensen, who's helping to organize that, is here. Thank you, Dave. The Sister Cities Committee has taken on that program in partnership with others, including our neighborhood councils. And we have a sponsor now, so thank you. But the International Festival at Town Square Plaza will go on in June. And another part of this shifting the demographics is our staff's participation in a new model of diversity training that focuses on respect. So it's a very different approach than what most of you have perhaps experienced when you hear about diversity training. But as our police department has found and the fire authority, we need to know our residents and some of the special cultural requirements and expectations that they have. But one thing that hasn't changed is Kent remains a family-oriented city. Now, when you look at Kent through the eyes of some of these events, the people attending the events, all you had to do was go to You, Me, We recently at Showware on Friday. This is a photograph taken down, and while you can't tell the diversity there, if you were there, you know. Diverse in ages, diversity in color, in ethnicities that you could tell, and certainly in activities. You could do, don't know, is Council Member Ralph here? There she is. She was one of the demonstrators. You know, she's a black belt. Just be careful how you deal with her. So she was one of the demonstrators for the You, Me, We program. And it was just outstanding, once again, of showing this community in action and its variety. Now let's get back to your return on investment. If we look at the real estate excise tax as an example, it's very clear that the economy is turning around. And in particular, in building permit comparisons. Now this is what we call the REIT, real estate excise tax. It's assessed on any sale of commercial properties. And when you get to looking at the commercial permits, in 2011, we had 253 permits issued for a total value of $33 million. While last year, we only had 44 additional permits issued than what we did the year before, but the value, instead of $33 million, it was $60.25 million. So in other words, bigger projects that help generate revenues for the city. And in case It's really interesting to note that of the 60 plus million, $55 million of that was generated in the Kent Valley. So looking at development on the valley floor. We also have put in place new technology for the online permit system. That started last October, so it's easier to secure your building permits. And this robust economy that we keep waiting for, while it seems to be slow, as everyone is predicting, at least we're showing great confidence through one of our particular developers, and that is IDS Real Estate Group and its Clarion Partners. They purchased more than 70 acres from the Boeing Company for warehouse distribution, and they intend to begin construction this spring on a 1.5 million square foot business park. Now, in line with another city council strategic goal, which is create connections for people and places. Doesn't that sound like fun? Create connections for people and places. That should be some kind of a bistro. We have a consortium of valley cities, including ourselves, Auburn, Renton, and Tukwila, working with Integra, one of the largest facilities-based providers of communication and networking services in the western United States, to establish a fiber optic run that stretches through our north and south borders. This city will be afforded fiber optic strands that can be utilized to connect public facilities like City Hall, Valley Communication Center, your 911 center. And as the private partner in this effort, Integra will be positioned to provide data and voice transport services to private companies along the service route. All of this will lead to the enhanced ability to connect public and private facilities to high-speed internet and voice services. Now, I know many of you in the chamber had a little bit of angst recently during our budget time when the City Council adopted as part of the new budget a business and occupation tax. You weren't alone in that angst. And one of the questions out there was, what kind of effect is that going to have on the city's future in retaining or attracting new business? Well, one example, even with the new B&O tax, Valley RV of Auburn has relocated to Kent this month. It's now called Valley RV Supercenter. They are the regional dealer for the Jayco line of RVs and will be an excellent addition to our business community. So have they joined yet, Andrea? All right. Soon. Another exciting development as we look at moving ahead. The new owner of Kent's downtown post office building will begin a major renovation project on the property early this summer. While we are not able to name the tenant just yet, the renovations will include a kitchen, bar, and an expansive new outdoor dining patio along 2nd Avenue. So when I talk about the downtown post office, I'm talking right there on 2nd and Gal. So I know staff is working with the owner, and it's just another great example of how our efforts as a community are beginning to pay off as we come out of this recession. And of course, speaking of patios and food, and beef jerky from Kent-based Oberto came out on top of a taste test in this month's issue of Consumer Reports. Now, if you can get the top in Consumer Reports, I think that's pretty awesome. So way to go, Oberto. And you know, good food and snacks are always a lot better when you have handcrafted in Kent beer. Made in Kent. Congratulations to Airways Brewing Company, who will celebrate its 3rd anniversary this weekend. Owners Alex and Dion Dittmar have a lot to celebrate. They're not only doing an interview on NPR, National Public Radio, but they also are launching 3 new brews, both for us as locals and also for their friends in Japan. So who knows what those flavors are going to be. In spite of the economy, their business continues to grow, so much so they anticipate being at full capacity at both their brewery and bistro by this summer. So where are they going to expand to? Now, you have seen one of the key corners downtown has do I say it's a competitor for you, Mike? Bring them on, okay. But welcome to Heritage Bank to our downtown. Heritage Bank has long wanted a presence within the downtown, and they couldn't have picked a more visible corner. There you, yeah, they are right there in the downtown core on the northeast corner of 4th and James. So right there with Showware, Kent Commons, and Kent Station. So kudos to the selection. Now, as we continue to look at downtown, the redevelopment also continues with the Goodman Real Estate project moving forward. Now, some of you may recall, it's called the Kent City Center Project. And this is an apartment complex with a bit of retail on the base. They will brand this transit-oriented residential development as, quote, the platform. Let that resonate a bit. The name is an acknowledgement to the development's proximity to the commuter station and to the vibrant Kent Station Retail Center. By the summer of 2014, residents of Kent will be coming home to the platform. So you can have fun with that. Goodman's is also working with a nationally branded retail tenant to occupy the commercial space at the southeast intersection of 4th and Smith, and will design the project to allow for outdoor seating at that corner. You're beginning to get a little picture here. We've got outdoors coming at the post office. We have an outdoor area coming now with the Goodman project at Kent City Center. And when we think of outdoors, we also think of the city parks. So thinking ahead as to what may be coming down the line here, don't be surprised if you see mouse ears on over 200 people on June 7th at Turnkey Park on the East Hill. Let me see the hands of those of you that do not know where Turnkey Park is. Oh, I thought I'd see almost everybody's hand goes up. Oh, some of you are just too shy. That's it. Yes. Turnkey Park is located, it's tucked away, it's been tucked away, and we've been gradually working on it to open it up to the neighborhood off of, is it 100th? Where's Jeff? Yes, off of 100th, just north of James. And it backs up to the Valley Key King County Housing Authority as an example, but there's a lot of children in that area in the houses. Well, we did it again thanks to Jeff Watling, Director of Parks and Recreation, and his staff. Why are we going to have mouse ears? Kent has been selected for another Kaboom community playground. And our funding partner is Mouse Ears. Walt Disney Company, absolutely. So that's the funding partner. This is our second win from Kaboom in less than 2 years. You may remember last time in the neighborhood it was it Humana, as I recall? Disney with mouse ears sounds like a lot more fun. So what's so cool about this, it's because of not only our staff, it's because of the volunteers and our neighborhood councils. Kaboom has found this a community that absolutely invests in its neighborhoods and its children. And we show we can get things done. So kudos. There's another group may or may not be coming to Kent. Those of you that, well, let me ask a question. How many of you have ever participated in a YMCA program? Let me see a show of hands there. Whoa, a lot of YMCAers. Well, we have a fledgling group, and quite bluntly, we're going to need some good dedicated folks to help see this through, but we have a fledgling group of people interested in attracting the YMCA here, and included with whom we're working are actually the people in charge of the YMCA. So we had talked to them a few years ago about coming to Kent when we were looking at building an aquatic center. But that hit at the time. They were stretched to the max with 8 building projects going on, and then the recession hit. But we've now reopened those conversations. So if any of you have an interest in seeing a YMCA come to Kent, please let myself know. Jeff, you've got to stand up. Jeff, we're not in charge of this. I have to be very clear. But Jeff keeps getting to be the point person. So this has to be a community grassroots effort if it's going to happen. So if you are interested, at least we can get your name and contact information to be part of this fledgling group. It's a question mark. Now, the City Council has adopted a strategic goal that is to create unique neighborhood urban centers. So instead of just having an urban center, which is typically how Kent has thought of itself, we had already begun this process a couple years ago when you look up at West Hill with the Midway Plan. There's a wonderful plan that we did in conjunction with the city of Des Moines to plan for that area near Highline Community College and where 516 intersects. It is Highway 99, so there's some really good ideas that are now part of our planning process for West Hill. And we've got the downtown plan that we'll talk about in a minute, but East Hill is really doing something, and it is what's called Kent East Hill Revitalization. Now, those of you that have trouble pronouncing things, you're going to see this acronym KEHR. And I've been told that sounds like care. Well, you got me on that one. But how many of you are involved or have attended meetings with Kent East Hill Revitalization? Let me see. Would you stand up? Oh, Maya, yes. So we have a few of you here today, but I am very excited about bringing attention to that part of East Hill with the goal of actually looking at not only helping to keep clean the public spaces in there, but seeking ways to engage the neighborhood's kids and families and assisting East Hill businesses to be successful. Some folks had talked about that area. You may remember one of your members talked about it being an international district. Others they're looking at some kind of identity to be able to show how culturally diverse it is and rich with families and businesses. So also as we look at neighborhoods, unique urban neighborhoods, that is actually going to be a key goal that will be incorporated into plans for expanding our neighborhood councils. We are revisiting the boundaries of the 24 neighborhood councils that currently exist. Most of them formed, many of them quite small, unlike West Hill Neighborhood Council that had 1,200 homes in it. Many of them are much smaller than that. And it's just not practical as we've had to reduce staff and trying to be the liaison. Plus, when you look at comprehensive plans and traffic patterns, et cetera, we need larger areas of people to take ownership for that area and have input into our process. So we are in the beginnings of actually looking at shifting the boundaries for the neighborhoods. That will also give people a stronger decision-making base of influence to the council or the planning commission, and it's a great place for leadership development. Now, I am going to take a breath here because I can finally breathe a sigh of relief with the approval last week by the King County Flood Control District Board of Supervisors to adopt Kent's plan to fix the Briscoe-Des Moines levee. Yes! Now, for those of you that don't know where this levee is, this is a picture of one section of it. It's got 4 bends to it. but it is between South 180th, which is actually in Tukwila, and South 200th Streets, and it's got some weak spots in it that are quite alarming. Besides Boeing, the levee protects the Starbucks roasting plant, IKEA, the Alaska Airlines call center, and other businesses where more than 18,000 people work. Plus, we have a whole neighborhood to the south of it of residents. The levee also protects highways, railroad lines, electrical transmission lines, and a gas pipeline. So, if the levee isn't repaired soon, federal officials could expand the floodplain map in much of the Green River Valley from Auburn to Tukwila and Renton. So, without getting into a lot of details there was a real sign of optimism when IDS, Real Estate Group, actually purchased the property in the belief that we would be able to forge ahead in rebuilding those levees to a certified level to have them accredited, meaning FEMA will actually look at the levees as existing. If they aren't accredited, FEMA is going to view them as not existing. Now, we certainly have some more challenges along the way, but Tim Laporte, would you stand up? I know you get to be in the limelight a lot with transportation. He is our Public Works Director, but Tim, you and your staff have done an awesome job in working with the private sector and also in-house in preparing us for taking care of our levees. Thank you very much. Just to give you an idea as to how important this was as a difference, the Kent plan was estimated cost at $17 million. King County staff's approach just for a small section of this levee was $74 million. Originally, the county staff wanted 600 feet on either side of the river to be dedicated to levee and open space, and I'll stop there. So, I also want to thank the Lakes neighborhood. They were awesome as residents affected by the levees. Those folks have really learned to communicate with their elected officials, which, by the way, all of you should also be on point about. Yep, if you don't squeak, nobody knows you're there. Of course, some can squeak too much, but just don't make it worth rating, but be strong. All right, a few more folks that, some other good news as we look at the economy having changed and your investment in action. Carlyle Interconnect Technologies relocated from Tukwila last September. They needed more space. We were really happy to help out, of course. But listen to this. If you're not aware of them, they are the market leader in providing cable assemblies for in-flight entertainment systems. And they are now our city's largest, one of our city's largest employers, with over 800 employees. And they expect to increase their employment. Now, speaking of things perking up, you can't forget Starbucks, of course. They announced late in 2011 they were not only investing tens of millions of dollars for upgrades in the roasting plant here in Kent, one of 5 in the world, but they also were going to move Tazo tea operations here from Portland. And so I was thrilled to be a part of their ribbon cutting with the executives with Tazo Tea here and all the employees. They actually shut down the plant to celebrate. That was pretty awesome. So that brought 50 new jobs to Kent just by consolidating and bringing Tazo Tea here. Now, a fun part of the job is when we see international highlights focusing on Kent. It was an honor for Kent to be chosen as the host city for the Hilton Honors Skate America event last fall. So we had 52 world-class skating champions here at ShoWare Center. And bringing with them, listen to this, we had 70 TV, print, and radio journalists from around the world. That's 70. So it really helped put us on the world map. So both for sports and entertainment. We rolled out the red carpet for 15,000 visitors that weekend, and the impact was significant. This is just one weekend. People came from 37 states, from Canada, Japan, Denmark, and Singapore. Those are the ones we could identify through the hoteliers. Nearly 30% of the attendees required lodging, staying an average of just under 3 nights. Now, I don't know how you stay under 3 nights. Let's just say 3 nights. That's what happens when you average. They spent an average of $116 per night, and their direct spending from dining and shopping in our region was estimated to exceed $461,000. That's just during a 3-day event. Because of showware. Not only because of showware. It's because of the management of showware. And I would like Tim Higgins to stand. Tim Higgins is the manager at Showware Center, and it is because of the reputation Kent has at that public facilities district facility, that regional facility, that we have been able to attract such high-end users. So thank you for you and your management. So just to give you an idea, the athletes had a good time too. So take a look here, if you missed this, on what Olympic gold medalist Ben Agosto, what did he have to say about Kent?
Welcome to Kent, Washington, just outside Seattle and not far from my home, a beautiful place with work and life in balance. Kent, Washington is home to many well-known companies such as Boeing, Oberto Sausages, and one of my favorites, REI. Kent is a nature wonderland, boasting 68 gorgeous parks and recreational areas. While the downtown historic district has everything from antiques and boutiques to quaint eateries. A must-see is Kent Station, a contemporary open-air urban village with great dining and shopping, right across the street from the arena. Showware Center opened in 2009 and hosts concerts, family-friendly entertainment, and is home ice to hockey's Seattle Thunderbirds, securing its reputation for welcoming world-class events. Come see for yourself the beauty and the fun that surrounds Kent, Washington, the region I call home.
Go, all right. So while there's been a lot of talk on Showware itself having lost some dollars, when we look at a 3-year period, $1.3 million loss over the past 3 years. 3 years, 1.3 million. But when you look at events like this and what it brings in, this was a special event, unlike just the Thunderbirds and keeping our economy going during so many of the regular events that occur there. Just to give you an example, for this one event with Skate America, and looking that $460,000 for 3 days, how much that eats away at $750,000 on an annual basis for example, of a loss. I think that's pretty amazing. So, in addition to that, we had 2.5 million NBC television viewers during Pandora, Unforgettable Moments of Love on Ice. How many went to see Barry Manilow, Love on Ice? Wasn't that, hey, where's the Manilow fans? Wasn't that awesome? He can still sing, he can still play, he's still skinny as can be. So that was really cool. But this is big. It's a regional center. It really meets up to what the council set as a goal, to have a regional attraction here in Kent. So while we're driving economic development with Showware, and while it's bringing in taxes through the ripple effect, we are continuing with SMG taking a new approach to actually being a financial partner with some of these shows, big shows, that we will be planning to attract. Without the risk, you don't get the reward. So we're going to be more of a player. When we talk about risk and rewards, of course I have to bring up municipal court. Risk, rewards, which one are you going to pay here? We did buy the municipal court building, and that has brought some economies to us. So not only did we move our probation department over to the court building, we also then have increased security for the city and the court users. So along with the court, some of you already know that the Norm Mailing Regional Justice Center now houses the King County District Court. So that is going to provide additional visitors to downtown, increasing our business. When we think about downtown, I really encourage you to go on to a website called venturedowntownkent.com. venturedowntownkent.com. This is an inclusive effort to really do some additional creative thinking about what should downtown look like in 5, 10, 15 years. The plans put in place today help shape the future of tomorrow. And just to give you an example, how large should a historic district be, or should there be a historic district? Questions that need to be addressed and confirmed or changed. Maybe how high should the buildings be? Unlimited? 5 stories? What's realistic? What kind of spaces do you want to see as the council has looked at a goal of connecting people and places again? What kind of spaces should downtown have? Should they all be filled in with activity and business? Or should we have some open space, some breathing space, especially as we continue to attract residents to the downtown core? Now, as we look again to the future, we know, for example, transportation will continue to be a challenge. The public's in turmoil over that. I ask for your input. I've enjoyed working with the chamber, whether it was working on the business and occupation tax. We have lobbied together in Olympia when it came to key goals that the chamber stands for business, and the city's right in line with that. Business is our economic base. But do you want motor vehicle excise taxes, hot lanes, 3-person carpools instead of 2-person? How gas tax increase? How are we going to raise the dollars that we know a crumbling infrastructure is going to demand? And if you're not there at the table, then we're not going to get your input. So, is Shelley still here? Who does she see? Andrea. If you're not part of the government committee with the chamber, see Andrea. Your voice needs to be heard. And a couple final things. While our parks funding levy failed, we know people are stretched for the dollars, and the public didn't want to support the levy for just maintaining our streets. So we're going to see a little more crumble, except where business said, yes, thank you very much, Chamber of Commerce, to the business and occupation tax to fund maintenance of arterials. And there is a list that the committee came up with. We have said you will see how those are funded as time goes on. So it'll be very transparent. But we are very lean as a city. And in that sense, we are undertaking a new program in lean practices. And Lorraine, would you stand up, please? Lorraine is our new Human Services Director for the department. Human Resources. See, I got the name right. I messed up the title of the Human Resources. Thank you. And she is taking us on her experience with lean in King County and Cascade Gasket. Did Mike make it? No. He's in Palm Springs. That's not lean. That actually is closer to the brownfields I'm not going to talk about. But anyway, He is helping us too, as a city, knowing how lean we could be, which an efficiency study, as I said earlier, says we already are lean, but how much better can we be? And I want to end on the fact that Kent truly is a safe city. When we think about other areas of the country that have experienced so much crime, in Kent, our crime rates have actually gone down. When it comes to burglary, when it comes to car thefts, we are seeing a reduction in crime. So much of that is because of our residents and businesses being smarter about it, preventing crime, and programs for our kids. I would much rather pay a few dollars to have a child be active, whether it's in a park setting, our community center, at Phoenix Academy or West Hill night program that we have. I would much rather see them active there than on the streets getting into mischief. So I am proud of our police force. I see Chief Thomas is here. Thank you so much. And again, thank you for the opportunity to serve you. I know that Kent is a safe, connected, and beautiful city, culturally vibrant, with richly diverse urban centers. Now, it's up to all of us to show that wonderful return on your investment. Thank you.